right, let's try this again. Welcome everyone to Tech Thursday. Today we are going to talk about establishing branding. We are going to spend a lot of time in Command, but it's not going to be exclusively in Command. I wanted to talk about first just some general ideas and concepts around establishing your brand and kind of some things, some first steps you can make, especially if you're out there as an individual agent, you're not working with a team who probably already has a logo and branding and all of that kind of stuff. Some things to start thinking about as you're kind of trying to establish your own brand. So I did a quick Google search before this call, and I got some, let's see, it looks like 5 steps for establishing branding. So I wanted to go over those with you guys real quick and a little bit of how you can actually accomplish that. The first one was research your target audience and competitors. We have a phrase here in real estate in general called R&D, which in a lot of fields means research and development, but in real estate we call that rip off and duplicate. It is okay to take someone else's stuff and use it for the most part. We all do it. There's no sense in reinventing the wheel. It's also a great idea to be inspired by what the other people that are in your field are out there doing. So not necessarily copying something carbon copy, but looking and seeing kind of what are the other things that people are posting on social media? What other things are they including in their logo and their branding and things like that? You want to pick your focus and your personality. I will give you a personal tip for me. You can certainly take it or leave it, but I'll say I would shy away from any kind of branding or color scheme, what have you, that really alienates a large portion of the population. So one example of that is like girly pinks and scripty fonts and hearts and butterflies and stuff. You're certainly welcome to do that. If that's you and that's your personality and you feel really drawn to that, then by all means, be my guest. But another thing to consider is that you want your branding to appeal to a larger audience. So you're not just wanting to attract those girly, curly, pink hearts and butterfly customers, but you want everyone to be your client and to be drawn to your branding. We're also going to start thinking about what we want to be our business name. Very, very often you can literally just use your name. There's no reason to create some other business name other than your name. Your name is great. It's the only one you have, so you might as well use it. However, if you do feel like you want to have some sort of name for your business, there are rules that you have to follow. So before you take this class and start, making logos and brandings and all of that stuff, I just wanted to bring a couple really important things to your attention. So I'm going to share the link to this right here. This is the Washington State Department of Licensing Real Estate Advertising Guidelines. I'm not going to go over this whole thing. Obviously, that is not what this class is about. I am going to share it in the chat. So I would definitely recommend taking a look at that. And then I'm also going to drop a file in the chat too that I share with my office and that you guys are welcome to use as well. But I would recommend actually reaching out to your agent services in your specific office to get a more specific to your office marketing guidelines thing. But overall, best practices would be before you spend a bunch of money on branding or a bunch of time designing a logo, perhaps run it by someone from your office, like your agent services coordinator, your designated broker, your team leader. Get someone else's opinion and make sure that it's going to be not breaking any rules or regulations, because the biggest reason for that, we're not trying to helicopter brokerage you. We're not trying to tell you what to do or micromanage you. What we really want to do is protect you from getting some sort of DOL, MLS, realtor infraction, which may or may not come with a fine and come with the cost of rebranding and things like that. So we just want to protect you from those types of things. And the way that that happens is, for example, let's say you have Robin Hooper Real Estate, I'm going to use you as the example, Robin, on your business cards. Well, as you'll find from looking through these real estate advertising guidelines, you are not allowed to use real estate as part of your name in your branding. You're also not allowed to use realty. So if Robin had business cards that said Robin Hooper Real Estate or Robin Hooper Realty, and people saw that and knew that she was affiliated with Keller Williams and that she was not her own brokerage, which is really the only time you're able to use those two phrases, someone could report her, take a picture of that business card and send it to the DOL and say, hey, look what I found. This agent is not doing what she's supposed to do. So just because you see other agents that are out there branding themselves that way, doesn't mean that it's right, doesn't mean that's the way you should do it. I know a lot of people on these calls are usually pretty new agents, so now would be the best time ever to go ahead and start right off the gate being compliant with all of those things and keeping yourself out of trouble. I'm going to go over real quick to an option for designing a logo. We're not going to like really design a logo, but if you guys haven't used Canva before, it is free. It would be a great thing to do logo designs, or you can make kind of like slideshow picture videos. I wouldn't pay for the free version. It just doesn't really, or sorry, I wouldn't pay for the paid version. I would use the free version. I used Canva at a pretty high level and I have never needed to pay for anything. I think there's always ways to get around it. So do how the MREA book says, red light, green light, don't spend any more on your business than you need to. And paid version of Canva is not something that I would recommend spending your money on. So a couple things to think about here. If you wanted to do a logo, let's say, just gonna look for like house maybe. You could have this free picture of a house right here. Bam. And then let's put my name on top of it. You guys, I did not practice this in advance. This is just literally how easy it is to just find stuff that works and go with it. Of course, if you're going to be using this as your actual logo, then you're probably going to want to spend a little bit more time on it. But I'm going to write my name here. See if I can make our faces a little smaller so I have some more room to work. There we go. All right, I'm going to make this really big. And I'm going to make this maybe gray. And let's make this all caps actually. There we go. All right, this is not going to be the best logo ever, but you guys are going to get the idea here. And I'm going to have my name here. I can make sure that it's centered. And then let's add another one down here. One of the phrases that you can use is homes. A lot of people use that. Properties, team, things like that. And maybe we'll do like a kind of scriptier font for that. And you can see all of these with the crown next to it are the paid script or the paid fonts, but you can certainly find something for free. Maybe this one. Love it. This is a very mediocre logo, but it's gonna work for today's class. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and download this. This is my logo that I'm gonna be using. And download. Now, one thing you're probably going to want to do with this logo is you're going to want to remove the background. I think you can do that in the paid version of Canva, but I don't like to pay for things, so we're going to do this for free. So I'm going to go to, just going to Google background remover. And then this one right here, remove.bg. This is a great one to use. I'm gonna upload that logo that I just did. Ta-da! Look at that Totes official logo that I have now. So I'm gonna download that and we might be using that a little bit today, so. Cool. All right, I've got that. Another great thing to use for this background remover would be like your headshot, for example. We're going to use a couple of those as well, just to kind of really make it look very professional. I know sometimes it's nice to be able to just insert your picture on something without a background. And so we're going to look at that a little bit today too. All right, so we talked a little bit about creating a logo and using Canva. I do think Canva is great. I do use it all the time. However, you're not going to find a lot of real estate specific templates in Canva, and that's really where I use designs a lot. Another great thing about designs is that you also can use consistent branding. They have a lot of different templates for different things that kind of all match and go together. So another thing about establishing your branding, the last bullet point of the list that I Googled is that you should be applying this branding across all of your business. So whenever someone sees an Instagram post from you or an email marketing piece from you or a flyer at your open house, your email signature, these can all kind of match. They all have your logo, they all have your colors, your fonts, whatever you use. Having that kind of consistent branding across all platforms is going to give you so much more of that top of mind recognition when someone sees you again out there. So I'm logging into Command right now. This is what my homepage looks like. Yours might look a little bit different, but the first thing we're going to do is we're going to go into our marketing profile. So we're going to click my name up here at the top and then go into settings. And then from settings, we're going to go to connect settings and then marketing profile. Now, the reason why we're starting here, just like we start here in most of our command classes, is because all of the information that we put in our marketing profile is going to get pushed into the other things that we do on this site. So again, when we're looking for that consistency, we want our logos on here, all of that. This is where I could upload that logo that I just made for myself. I'm not going to because I don't love it and I'm not trying to put that on all of my marketing pieces, but we'll use it, we will use it later. But here's a good place for you to put that once you do get that established. Your name, all your information on here. Now, this is one thing that you can't really change. You do need your Market Center logo. There are probably different versions of your Market Center logo. If you haven't downloaded those yet, I'll show you where to find those. Go to kwconnect.com. You might want to use, I just use the red and gray version, but you might want to use like the white and gray version, or there might be an all white version, or red and white version. And then once we're in here, we're going to go to resources and then marketing. And then logos and branding. All right, go ahead and scroll down past this identity and style guide. Although it's important, just like I was saying before, how we want to keep our branding very consistent across all forms. That's exactly what KW wants to do as well. So this identity and style guide is just kind of to help you out if you're ever trying to put something out there and you want it to look really Keller Williams official. It talks about in this style guide what fonts they use and things like that to make things look very Keller Williams. But you can certainly make things look like you. It doesn't have to look just like Keller Williams. If you scroll down, you'll see your Market Center logos. So right here is where we're going to look for our Market Center. If you don't know your Market Center number, try looking at your MCA or ASC's email signature. It's probably in there, but you can also just type the name. So for my Market Center, that's North Seattle. My Market Center 1081, and then I can download our whole collection of logos from here. So you will need that. If you haven't already downloaded those on your computer, those do need to be on your flyers and all your marketing materials, things like that. People need to know, just like the way that the DOL doesn't want you calling yourself Kara Krogh Realty or real estate. It needs to be made very clear to the average consumer that you are affiliated with a brokerage. You are not your own brokerage, and for that reason, they don't want you using those phrases, and they also want to make sure that you're putting your Market Center logo just as apparent as your own logo across all platforms. All right, so now that we've got that downloaded on our computer, we can upload this here if it isn't already. And we're looking pretty good to go on this. So now, once we're ready to go into designs, we will go through this menu over here. It's going to be this kind of paintbrush tablet looking thing. You can also click the red KW and that's going to pop this menu out and you'll see designs right there. So we're going to click that. I love designs. It is by far one of my favorite things that you can do in Command. I just love to make flyers and graphics, and it's just really fun for me. I do, like I said, I use Canva a lot, but you are limited in the kind of stuff that you already have templates made for you in Canva. So it's nice to be able to have these pre-made templates here. So these are things that I've already worked on before. I click to email or social, print, and video. If this is your first time coming into designs, this might be blank, and that's okay. We can change that today. To start a new design, you can certainly click on any of these to work on old designs. I know I copy my calendar every month by clicking this and then making a copy. And that's how I create a new calendar, is by copying the old calendar. You could certainly do that. You can also rename your designs from here and also delete them. But there's a better way you can organize these as well. So beyond just email, social, and print, if I click this blue plus sign, and let's start with social, and then click next. It's actually going to take me into this WeBrand KW site. This is where designs happens. So here I've got all these templates to choose from, but if I want to go back to looking at my designs, just wanted to show you guys real quick. Now I can actually create folders for my designs. So as you can see, I've got some calendars here, but this calendar didn't quite make it in there, so I can just click and drag, drop it right there. If I want to create a new folder, I can click new folder, and maybe we'll call this one Open House Flyers. And for open house flyers, that's another thing that I would strongly recommend. If you make a really good one once, copy it and make it again, or just change it and update it for different houses. You don't have to necessarily put all of your own personal contact information in every single time, or change the template around every single time, because that's not going to be necessary. You could just kind of plug and play. And the first few times that you use Canva, or sorry, you use Command and use Designs, it will probably take a little bit of time to get these things set up, but then the great thing is once you do have it set up, it's really easy to just continue tweaking it every once in a while. All right, so here's where you can find all my designs. I can also import PDF files and then actually edit the elements of the PDF, which is really cool. I can also start from a blank design. I almost never do that because I feel like I'm always better off having a little bit of a head start using a template of some sort and then changing it how I want to. But if you know you want it to be blank, just start from a blank one right here. And then if you click go to templates, it'll just take you back to this tab over here. So the first thing that I want to do today that I feel like I get asked a lot by our agents is making an email signature. People ask me all the time, how do you make an email signature? And now we're going to show you how to do it in Designs. There's multiple ways to do it. I personally have a clickable email signature, which I really like. It's maybe not as pretty as designing something in Designs, but I like it's practical that since it's clickable. You can pay to have designs made for you or email signatures made for you. So like, let's say, for example, if I wanted to go to agentstore.com, and then we're going to do products, custom email signatures. Now these are going to be both beautiful and practical because you've got email signatures that are clickable, but also a pretty graphic, but they do cost $100. So just something to think about. Again, we were talking in the beginning about kind of pulling back from spending more money than necessary. You certainly don't need to spend $100 on this. We're going to show you how to do a pretty great one that just won't be clickable. You could make the graphic itself maybe lead to your website, which will have your phone and email and all that other information. But yeah, those are your options. So we're going to go to business basics and then email signatures. Oh, actually, before we go on to that, one important thing I almost forgot. We talked about templates and we talked about My Designs. Assets. That's actually probably the most important thing when it comes to keeping your branding consistent across the board with your designs. So right here, when you go to assets, you can develop a color palette that's very specific. So you know every single time you're making an open house flyer or a social media post, you're using the same color palette. That might be that perfect KW red. That might be your Robin Hooper Homes green, whatever your color might be. You can pick that color out and you can actually select it on this color palette and then make sure you're using that consistently across the board. Same thing with fonts. You can actually purchase a font on the internet, download it to your computer, and then upload that font to Command, to Designs, and then use that specific font in across all of your marketing pieces. So that's a great option as well. Here's where you'll put your logo. I've got some Keller Williams North Seattle logos and some Ben Kinney Company logos. Let's go ahead and put that beautiful Kara Krog Homes logo on here. There we go. All right, that looks great. I know you guys can come up with something better than that, but you see what I mean. And do you see how all of these have the transparent background? Now, when you go to actually download these from KW Connect, there will be some that will download on your computer that have the transparent background. So keep that in mind. They are all in the same place. You don't have to remove the background off of these. There should be some that already have the background off of them. And these are just going to be so much more practical and so much easier to use than the ones with the white on the back. The white on the back looks great if you're putting it on a white flyer, but if you're putting it over any other color, it's so much better to have that background transparent or over a picture. All right, next we've got some text fields. So if you've got a slogan that you are using, I know I've seen some like kind of funny home matchmaker, love connection type slogans that I've seen real estate agents use, or taglines. This would be a great place to put that as well. Your phone number, your email, your bio, your website, your office address, things that you don't want to have to type out every single time. If you add those in here, it'll be a really quick, easy way for you to just insert that text. Things like your name, I feel like are probably not that important because you've probably typed your name so many times you could do it with your eyes closed. But other things like your office address that you might not have memorized, it would be nice to have in here. Some other images. These are my various headshots. So as you can see, I've got some with backgrounds, some without backgrounds. Elements would be things like if you have, it says stickers, objects, shapes, icons, more. There are going to be some elements already in designs, not as many as they have in Canva, but this would be a great place if you know you use the like Instagram logo a lot to lead people to your Instagram with your Instagram handle, or just other images that aren't necessarily pictures, but just like, I don't know another word to call it besides elements, but just like cartoon type buttons that you might want to put onto things. This is where you could upload those, some videos, and then some other files as well. All right, so let's go back to that email signature. We're going to go to, again, it's right here, but we went to business basics and then email signatures. They also have business cards here as well. I wouldn't necessarily recommend printing these off of your computer, but you could certainly design business cards here and then get them printed somewhere else. some letterheads. This is another thing I actually get asked a lot by our agents is, do we have a Keller Williams letterhead or a Keller Williams North Seattle letterhead? Yes, we do. It's right here, and you can edit this so it says Keller Williams North Seattle, Everett, whatever your office is. You can change that logo up here, and some social branding as well. Another fun thing about this social branding is if you have a MacBook or whatever your computer is that's newer than my computer, because I can't do this, these make really great virtual backgrounds for whenever you're having calls. All right, we're going back to email signature, and we only have 2 options here. Not a ton to choose from, but let's go with this one. They do have more on Scott Leroy Marketing's website, so I would recommend, if you're not really loving either of those, check out scottleroymarketing.com, and they have some more options there. Cool, so here is gonna be my email signature. I can take this guy right here and replace him maybe with this picture. I'll do my name. I need my logo. Now I have seen a few people recently kind of forget to change this logo out. KWDBA name is not your office. That does not exist. Make sure you're changing this for your actual office logo. And you know, I don't even actually love that logo right here. I feel like there's some blank space over here. So I'm just gonna move it right here. Or actually, I'm gonna move it right here. And then I'm gonna put my new fancy Kara Krogh logo right there. Now this obviously isn't a great color for this background, I would say. Like a white logo would probably work better, but if you've got a logo that you really like, it's not that hard to turn it white. Just go change the colors. All right, I can put my link to download my app here. And if you guys want to know where to find that, if you go to Command and go to Consumer. And then this button up here, I actually forgot what that said, Site and App Settings, and then go to URLs. Your app URL will be right here. Unfortunately, this can't be changed or customized. You could make maybe a bit.ly. That's another great free resource. That's bit.ly. And don't pay for this. It's great to use it for free. I mean, you can pay for it if you want to customize both halves, but I'll just create that. I'll paste this logo or this app here, and then maybe I can make this. Perfect. Now I just have one with my name on it, and then I'm going to copy that. And then, so I can use this one, or now I can use this short link, bit.ly/Kara Krogh. And then we'll go back to designs, and where it's asking for my app, I'll just put that link. Perfect. Maybe I'll make that well, I'll just leave it like that for now. And then we'll need our office address. So this is where I can go into that text, go into my assets, and then there's my address. We'll just swap that out. Oh, that didn't work. It's okay. If I have something that doesn't work, I'm just going to delete it. Make sure this is clicked. You are clicked. Now replace text. There we go. For some reason, it's not the whole address. That's fine. I'll just add that. Suite 504. And then I'll just put 9A5 because I'm running out of room. And then I'll update my cell phone number, my office number, my email address, my website. Some states do require you to put your license number on all these things. It's actually not required in the state of Washington, so I can delete that, or I can always put my license number on there. That's fine as well. Or maybe I'll put my other job. I'm not just a realtor, but I'm also director of agent services. Perfect. All right, that looks great. So then I would just download this, and you need it to be not a PDF, but an actual image. So let's do PNG and then download. All right, so now I would just put that picture in my email signature, and I'm good to go. So now let's talk about open houses. There are two things that you always want to have when you are doing an open house. You want to have open house flyers, and you want to have some sort of social media graphic that is going to promote that open house. So one of the things I probably could have done before we started was pick a listing for this, but that's all right. We'll find something. So let's go ahead and go, well, we're going to save this. It should save automatically, but we're going to save it anyway. Now we're going to click this blue plus sign and do, this time we're going to do a print graphic. Now here would be a great place if I know I'm going to be doing an open house flyer to say, I want to import photos and text from a listing. If I had an MLS number, this is where I would put this. Does anyone have an active listing right now? Anyone? It's all right, they're hard to get these days.
I have a pending one.
That might work. What's the MLS number?
Let me find it. It is 178-4843.
178-4843. And let's see here.
There it is, right there, bottom right, Tacoma.
Aha, there we go. Select. Cool. So this is also going to make things super easy. Just like whenever I had my my marketing profile and my assets all set up, so things will just automatically populate themselves in whatever document I'm working on. This is another great way to have those things kind of auto-populate as well. All right, this isn't popping up, but that's all right. Let's go to listings, and then I would say either for sale or just listed. I'm going to do for sale. You can certainly do a flyer that says open house. I think that a for sale flyer, unless you're like going around door knocking, passing out open house flyers to invite people to your open house. Open house flyers or open house graphics make really good social media graphics. But as far as the actual physical thing that you're going to be handing people at an open house, personally, I think I prefer a for sale flyer for that. It can be kind of weird and awkward, just like passing people your business card at a open house. But if you have flyers that have your name on them already, and yes, any MLS number, Jennifer, you can pull listings from other brokerages into designs. They should work with any MLS number, I believe. I could be wrong. I would give it a try. So I really only ever do them for agents in our office. So that's a really good question. I feel like I have seen them pop up though from other brokerages. Okay, so we are going to do an open house with this wonderful listing that is pending, but we're going to pretend like it's not pending. And so we are in for sale listings. I'm going to go to the flyer and letters tab over here. As you can see, there's lots of different types of things we can do. Bifolds, trifolds, postcards, social media stuff, but we're going to do letter size flyers. Now here is kind of what I was talking about earlier with that consistency of branding. As you can see, there's a lot of different styles. And perhaps you might find that one design fits the property a little bit better than another design. And that's okay to change it if you really want to change it. But I also think that there's something to be said for keeping this design consistent. Personally, I love this black and white over here. I think this looks really cool. But it might be a little modern for some older homes. I also wanted to have some more pictures. That one only just has one picture. One that I really like a lot is this one right here. So we're going to use this. And I already know for certain that there's other templates that have this same branding as well. All right, so here we are. You can actually, now if you didn't notice that pop-up that just popped up, you can actually order prints from these by clicking this button right here. We're not going to do that today, but just so you know, if you know you've got a open house coming up and you want to order a bunch of prints instead of have them mailed to you instead of printing them out yourself. I mean, I feel like things sell so quickly here that I don't know if we quite have time to do that, but that is an option that is available to you. All right, so we're going to do for sale. Let's see if this house is on our MLS. There it is. So we've got the listing, photos, and details are already on here. I didn't have to go into my computer, upload them. I didn't have to go into the MLS, save them, then upload them on upload them from my computer. This saves us a lot of work. I'm gonna replace this main image right here. Usually you wanna do the front of the house, but people love kitchens as well. So kitchens could be another option. I'm gonna say, let's do the front of the house. All right, if I want to zoom this in, I can do that. I'm just gonna double click that image and then zoom it in, zoom it out. Once I like where it's at, I'm gonna click done. Now I need the address for this property. So not only do I have all of these pictures here, and the address of course is right here, but if I click listing details, and I can find the address here and replace. Ta-da! I'm gonna make that a little longer. Make sure it's centered. There we go. All right, now instead of toggling back and forth between my agent detail sheet and my designs, I do have all the information for this house right here. So I can just update it this way. I can see that it's 4 bedrooms. Over here on the left-hand side, it says 4. So I'll change that to 4. Bathrooms is already correct. That's 2. Square footage is 1,170 square feet. And it is listed for $359,000. It is built in 1950. So see how it's so easy to just pull that information from all these listing details on the left-hand side. And then I can replace these smaller images down here. Let's go back to our listing. Like I said, people love kitchens. Let's throw a kitchen picture in there. see. They're so small. Let's maybe throw this one in here too. All right, that looks great. And then for this little description, I've got some bullet points over here, but if I go back to listing details, there is a, oh look, see, it has your listing status as well. It says it's pending. Yeah, I can pull a lot of information from here. I can say, you know, cooling and heating system, driveway parking, off-street parking, all kinds of stuff from here. Nicely updated 4-bedroom home. So I could actually take this whole thing, and then if I just swap this out, it won't be bullet points. So if I wanted bullet points, I would need to shorten this down a bit. But as you can see, I can take the whole property description from the MLS and I can add it onto here if I so choose. Ta-da! Cool beans, looks great. Now we can't forget, I know I said people have forgotten this before, we gotta update this KW logo. I've got all these logos here to choose from. Let's do this one. And then let's also throw that beautiful Kara Krogh Homes logo on here too. Part of me does wish I had spent like an extra 5 seconds making this look a little bit better, but you guys get the idea. All right. I'd have to make it small since this is a lot of text up here. There we go. All right, that looks great. Now I need to update my information down here. I'm gonna zoom in a little bit. And I'm gonna change this headshot. One thing I think looks pretty cool, I'm just deleting this old one instead of replacing it, is I like having that, that transparent background headshot in places like this. Kind of looks cool to be over whatever you've got going on here. Is that just me or is that cool? I feel like it's cool. All right, and then I am not Lisa Johnson, not today.
It is
And then
cool.
I'm not gonna update all that other stuff because you guys already have seen me do this, but let's take a look out. I mean, I think I probably put this flyer together in, I don't know, 5 minutes maybe?
Hey, Kara,
Yeah.
who did those for you? All your headshots and pictures.
You know, my friend took this picture of me at my house. This is my Builder Beige wall behind me. And that was about like 4 years ago. And then this picture is a little more recent. We had someone at our office come and take headshots. They were pretty cheap actually. But your office may, I know most of the offices will have someone come and do headshots every quarter or so. I would reach out to your agent services and see if they have anything like that in the pipeline. It's certainly cheaper if your office is gonna coordinate getting headshots taken, like for the whole office, opening up for the whole office. Because if you think about it, the photographer will come for an hour and can shoot like 10 people in that time. Whereas if you're just booking them one-on-one, they're gonna have to probably spend an hour just setting up, taking your pictures, and then breaking down. So
The picture part is not too much of a challenge, but getting that transparent background thing that you said was cool, that I agree is cool.
yeah,
It would be hard for me to do. I don't know how to do that.
I covered that in the beginning of the class.
Oh,
Did you
okay.
tune in?
Oh, that's right. Oh, I remember. You can do it with your own photos. Okay.
Yeah,
That was a logo. Wires
I went
crossed.
I went to back or remove
Right.
remove.bg, and yeah, you can upload your headshots and stuff in there too.
Okay, I'll mute myself now.
No worries. Cool. All right. I think this is really good to go. I think another thing you could do if you wanted to add more information, I personally love a 2-sided flyer. So I could either take another flyer, add it to the back, maybe take this for sale thing off and maybe add some more of these smaller pictures, do that kind of stuff. Like you could definitely duplicate this and then do a front and back thing. But Once I'm ready to print this, I'm just gonna go to download. And then for this one, I actually recommend doing it as a PDF. So if you're having problems print or saving this as a PDF to your computer, you might need to try doing PDF standard instead of PDF for printing. I find that PDF standard still is great printing quality for me and my experience, and that sometimes my computer just can't handle the PDF for printing quality. The file is just far too big. So I would try both, try the PDF for printing if you really want it to be clear, but if for some reason it's not working, check out the standard one, and it should work as well. Cool, so now we have this. We've got our flyer ready to go. Our open house is this weekend, so we need to make sure we invite some people. We need to let them know that we're doing this, and we want them to be there. So take a picture of this in your mind. Remember what this branding looks like, because what we're going to want to do when we do our social media piece is we want it to kind of look cohesive with this branding. So let's go home. We'll save these changes. And we'll go to listings, and let's do open house. And I really want to do a social square one, but I also think that what's really cool is social stories. One of the cool things about stories versus posts, I personally don't really utilize stories at all. However, when you post your open house in a story or your listing in a story, you post anything in a story, you can see an entire list of all the people that have looked at that story. If you just post something on social media, you have no idea who saw it. Whereas if you post a story, it shows you every single person whose eyeballs were on it. So if you're not utilizing that, you definitely should be. Here is a great open house one that matches what we just did. Also this one. So if you guys want to keep that consistent branding with your post and with your story, these are great ones to use as well. But we are going to do just a square. I think square looks best across all social media platforms. Obviously, Instagram has been kind of made for square since the beginning, but I think uploading something to Instagram and sharing it to Facebook at the same time makes a lot of sense, and that square also looks really good on Facebook as well, in my opinion. So some corresponding social media graphics to our flyers would be like this one right here. So I'm going to click use. And let's see if it kept that. Blake, do you still have that MLS number on you?
Yes.
Ready.
1784843.
Perfect. So this is a good example. Actually, I'm kind of glad that it didn't stay, because I know before I showed you where when I first went into designs, how I said that I wanted to use a listing MLS and pull the information that way. This is what you would do if maybe you didn't click that button and you just found yourself working on a template that you didn't do, and you didn't decide in advance that you wanted to use an MLS number. You can still use it. Like, you don't have to start all the way from the beginning and check that box. You can certainly come in here, click KWLS, and then search for the listing right there. So we've got Blake's pending property. And then really whatever house you want. And honestly, if you know you're going to be doing this open house, let me delete that. That didn't work right. If you know you're going to be doing this open house on Saturday, you could post about the same open house on Thursday and on Friday and on Saturday, and just share different pictures of the property, different ways to entice people to come. So we're going to switch this DBA logo over here. And I'm going to move this over here. This just says each office is independently owned and operated. That is something that Keller Williams requires that you put on all of your marketing materials. And then I'll put my logo on the other side. Now I kind of wish I had done it in red. That would have looked better. Cool, look at that. All right, now I want to have this picture of the property. So I'm going to click this graphic back here and go back to KWLS and then switch this over. That looks really great. I'll put the date on here. Again, we'll need the address. That's easy to do. Perfect. And then I'll just update all this stuff the way that I did before. And just like that, in like 2 minutes flat, I have a, oh, Jennifer says it does not work for non-KW listings. Womp womp. Just like that, I have an open house graphic that I can share on my social media, on Facebook, on Instagram, that's going to coincide with my other marketing materials that I make. I need to log off this call a little bit early today because my office is going to be using the same account to teach Prep to Get Paid at 11 a.m. I need to make sure our MCA has time to get on. But does anyone, I've got about 2 minutes if anyone has any questions about, I know I covered a lot of stuff today.
I guess my question would be, what do you do with this once it's done?
Oh yeah, that's a great question. So you can actually just download this as an image. So I personally do PNG most often. I'm gonna download that. And now you have an image on your computer. You can upload to Facebook. You can upload to Instagram. You can send to people in an email.
Okay, so just the normal social media route channels.
Yeah.
Okay. Awesome.
And you could also do that with the flyer as well. So let's say you made that open house flyer and you've got a list of people that you want to send it in an email to. Instead of downloading it as a PDF and printing it, I would download it as a PNG, insert it into the body of an email, and invite your sphere.
That's
that
great.
would be another good way to utilize the open house flyers. So if you're not going to be door knocking for people, but you want to you want to make an open house flyer and send it out in an email, that would be another great option. Any other questions, you guys? Did anyone learn anything today?
This is a kick-ass feature. That's what I learned.
Yay! Yeah, there's lots of great stuff you can do in Command. We actually will also teach a Designs 101 class at some point, maybe even a Designs 201 class. There's lots of fun stuff in Designs. I always love to search around in here. I guess one last thing I'll show you before we log off is if you ever want to know what's new in Designs, they do have a collection of templates. Let's see here. I don't think they're over here though, but now I can't figure out where it is, but I do have, oh, there it is, new designs. So it's under collection and then new designs. So check out new designs all the time, see what comes up. We've got holiday graphics, Twitter covers, Facebook covers, social media stories, all kinds of new stuff get added to here all the time. So if you ever just want ideas of what you could be working on, what you can be doing, check out those new designs and reach out to me or your agent services person if you have any questions. My email is karakrogh@kw.com. Hopefully you know how to spell that since I typed it like 12 times today. But yeah, let me know if you guys have any questions. Thank you again for coming and we'll see you next week.
Thanks, Kara.